Wow. February 3rd, here on Lake Mead. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's low 70s today. There's a gentle breeze coming in here. It's coming in out of the east. It's not a cold breeze at all. It's really nice, very comfortable.
Right away to mark day 3, as Kelly points out, for CEO John Berger. Remember, Walmart moved its stock to trade on the NASDAQ from the New York Stock Exchange on January 20th, and many with them. And like his predecessor, Doug McMillan, he's also described as a servant leader, but the next vintage, with perhaps more of a penchant to take risks. I'm told he has insatiable curiosity, and McMillan really counted on Berger to execute the strategy.
Boat sticker, please.
Yes, sir.
You're ready.
The recent Google AI partnership, he announced that.
How's the water level? Still down, huh?
1,065 things every night? Yeah, 1,065. So it actually came up within the last week.
1,065. So it came up how much? A foot?
A foot?
Yeah. This is Jim's VanLife channel, and I'm glad you're with me, folks. Please like and subscribe if you like the content. It's been beautiful weather here in Las Vegas area this winter time. All right, well, here we are at Colville Bay. There was a lot here. I mean, there's a camping ground here, which is actually it's a nice RV park right there. We just passed it. This place was really happening back in the day. This parking lot here was where people parked their boats and their vehicles. And right here at the crest of this hill is where the water used to be. And this is the original concrete ramp right here. So this is where people would put their boats in. You can see there's a, I'll turn over this way a little bit. You see the light colored boulders down below the building. So you have dark colored boulders and then you have the light colored boulders. Okay, so that's the water line. When the dam was full, the water came up to here. And I'm on the original concrete ramp where people used to put their boats in. This whole area that you see out here in front of you, all this lighter color, up to the dark parts of the mountains, this was all lake, all filled with water. Yeah, it looks like the bass boat's about ready to go in ahead of us, so we'll have to turn and sit and wait. Have a little breeze on the water today. Not bad. All right, here we go. I'm sure you've noticed that people nowadays, many people nowadays, unfortunately, are angry. And I don't get that. Why people have to be so angry. I don't know if it's just the political climate or those that aren't in power want to be in power, so they create a lot of hate and discontent, and those elitists that control all the media, you know, they like to cause problems too. But if you're a lone wolf, you know, you don't let that stuff get to you. anything that's going to take you off of your goals, anything that's going to take you away from day-to-day activity that helps you to be successful, helps you to get to where you want to go, you don't let that stuff get to you. It may sound like it gets to me a little bit now. It does. I'm an older guy, and you know, I've had my success. I worked hard over the years. But back then, you didn't have what you hear today. You don't have what you see today. Maybe to some degree, I suppose. But if you're going to be successful in this life, and if you're gonna be more like the lone wolf whose focus is on the road he sees in front of him and the things he needs to achieve to get to where you want to be, you can't let that stuff get in your way. Look at all these people that are spending time creating havoc. I don't get it. You know, the women who are mothers, instead of being at home getting a meal or a snack ready for the kids when they come home from school, they're out on the street blocking traffic. That's completely unproductive. It's unproductive for the mother, when there's much more important things for her to be doing. I don't get it. And the purpose of my channel isn't to rant about politics and things like that. As a matter of fact, I'm not really all that political. I'm maybe conservative in nature, financially conservative for sure, but not really political. Matter of fact, I'm guilty of not voting. I haven't voted in the last 3 elections. So you can see here by the bathtub ring that you were able to go right up into that hole up there and be right in your own little cove. Not anymore. Let's see if we can get up in there and we'll dock and do a little exploration. All right, let's go explore up this wash that used to be deep underwater. I guess it's been 9, almost 10 years now since I've been coming here with the boat. Before I bought a place down here, I was living in Washington State, working for a company out of Alameda, and I didn't want to live in California because because of the expense. So I lived in Redmond, Washington, and the winters there were just so dreary that when COVID happened, I guess it was like the year before COVID, I took my ski boat down here and I wintered here. I worked remotely in my RV, and I spent the winter down here every season until I bought the place. And back then there was enough water to at least get up into here. Of course, the ground is littered with beer cans and bottles, and if you came out here with a metal detector, you're sure to find some interesting things under the silt, I bet. Things that that went overboard when people were boating out here. Imagine if somebody lost their gold watch and you could find it. You can tell how just based on the gravel and the rocks here, these have all been washed down over the eons in here. Let's just keep going up into here. Let's go see how far the water used to be. I'm seeing desert sheep poop. So the desert sheep come down through here every once in a while. All right, you see the bathtub ring in front of us. This was still deep enough to get your boat up into. Such fun exploring back in the day. Is this the end? This is where you came to hide? Right up in here, maybe? Yeah. You see the bathtub ring? Goes along here. And right into the base of this flat area. This is the hole in the wall for the hole in the wall gang. When the lake was full, which was back in the 1980s, you could boat all the way back into here. Are you old enough to remember when aluminum pop-top cans first came out, replacing bottles? Well, I've seen a whole boatload of those pop-tops on the ground hiking around out here. It's because for those of you that weren't alive when they had those, the aluminum can had a pop top on it. You'd pop it open and you'd pull the tab completely off and chuck it. Yeah. Well, if you remember that like me, you're dating yourself. Blew out my flip-flop, stepped on a pop-top, cut my heel, had to go on back home. So in that Jimmy Buffett tune, if you've heard that and you never knew what he meant by he stepped on a pop-top, that's the pop-top. It used to be all over the place, litter the beach, because people would tear them off the cans and just toss them. Observe this Coke can. It's an old Coke can that had a pop-top. I don't know if you can notice it or not, but you're going to see, like from the water level up on the rocks, you're going to see a lighter bathtub ring, maybe 20 foot up from the water. Last year, I think it was in April, I'd have to check the records to know for sure, but I'd come out here when the water was right at that level, about 20 foot higher than what it is right now, and I went back into here quite a ways, and there was one narrow little channel where I had to put the boat through, and then I was able to go back in behind here quite a ways. about like when half of this water had gone down, like halfway down this bathtub ring, if you could boat to there and then climb up on these cliff walls and jump in. Alright, well here we go. And I don't know, maybe we can sneak in here. Let's see. That's still pretty deep right here. Let's go straight down these cliff walls for a little ways. This is just another one of those canyons, washes that you were able to boat up into. I just saw a desert sheep track. There's some more of them. I guess the sheep would enjoy these kind of washes where the going's a lot easier and they can come down to water. It makes sense that you'd see tracks right here. Well, what do we got here? Pelvis. So either the coyotes took down a desert sheep or it died here, and then they just picked the carcass. Alright, well, we're going uphill, kind of back into another Bucks Canyon type scenario. I think we're getting pretty close to where the high water mark was, up this wash. Pretty cool up here though. An old piece of rope that's buried. I tried pulling it out. Who knows how long it is? Yeah, okay, well, I guess this was the high water mark. How about some goggles? You need some goggles? Who knows what you're gonna find laying around here. Pieces of old clothing. I saw a section of hose and pipes and things like this here, like what's left of somebody's sunglasses that went overboard. How many sunglasses do you think went overboard here at Lake Mead? You see that engine block has a crack in it. Cylinder walls opened up. Somebody might have just hauled it out here and junked it. I don't know why you would do that, though. Why would you go through the work of taking a heavy engine block, and unless you were holding down a body with it or something. Yeah, an old mooring line. It's not rotted. I'll hang on to it, I guess. How about an old fishing reel handle sitting here on a rock? Looks pretty old. Went overboard a long time ago, I bet. Yep. Yeah. Hey, a girl lost her top. There you go. It's just a shame that all of this water's gone, because this place was amazing back in the 80s, the 1980s. Dam was full. Boat ran really well today. It's looking really good. I've kept it in nice shape, of course. It hasn't gotten a lot of use. 500 hours, that's it. But, you know, I've kept it really clean, kept it nice. It's all original vinyl inside. So, I mean, check that out. Pretty nice. All right. Time to call it a day and get out of here. The sun's about ready to go down over the hill.